Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Studio B in the Elmwood Media Complex. It is Thursday, June 5th. I'm Kevin Rouch. This is the Daily Scrum. Glad to have you alongside today. Got quite a few things to talk about on this Thursday. On our slide today, that is Braden Starner, a junior infielder. He's not the whole infield, just one of the guys on the infield for the Grove City Greyhounds. They're playing right now as we speak. They field in Lancaster for the right to go to the state tournament. They're in the regional finals down there. And last report, and we'll try to update that as we can, Olentangy was ahead 1-0 in the third inning. So, again, that's Grove City's Braden Starner. A junior, who knows, might have him back. But that's who is on our slide today. That picture taken by our very own John Hulkenberg. Excellent shot. The big thing today, and this after having been around the Blue Jackets now for a couple of years, and especially this year after everything that happened, huge congratulations to Sean Monahan for winning this year's Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. That's a big honor because it goes to the player, and I'm going to read it exactly, who, quote, best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. He is the first Blue Jacket to win that award. Nick Foligno, Kevin Dineen were nominated previously, but again, Sean Monahan gets that award. Really cool video. I'd tell you to look for that on social or wherever the NHL posts their videos. Meredith Gaudreau surprised Sean Monahan at his house here in Central Ohio with the trophy. Sean's wife told him he had a family photo shoot, so he would dress appropriately. And Meredith Gaudreau, the widow of Johnny Gaudreau, surprised him with that trophy. And you won't see it officially in the press release because it's just too hard to describe that the Blue Jackets put out. But when you talk about perseverance, when your best friend passes away, one of the major reasons you came to Columbus this year, and Sean Monahan worked through that and was a tremendous talent on the team, got hurt a little bit during the season, but when he was in there, he was a tremendous talent and really a difference maker. So much that we would talk about it on Press Row about how the power play suffered when he wasn't in there. So he was a great player, but more important, he was just a great character guy in the room. I think he was super quiet with us, with the media. I don't think he enjoyed those kind of interviews very much, or the spotlight or cameras or any of that. But apparently a little bit of a jokester behind the scenes, a prank guy. And, just had to get through I can't even imagine how devastating that was for him. But to do that and play as well as he did and then be a team guy like he was throughout, really, really speaks volumes about Sean Monahan. So he gets the Bill Masterton Trophy. But again, look for that video because that was really neat. Really, really neat. Emotional moment for the Monahans and then for Meredith Gaudreau, who was there to also be in pictures with Sean as he gets the Bill Masterton Trophy. And again, just so you know exactly, the player that best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. He was the runaway winner of that award this year, in my opinion. Should have been the runaway winner. Looking at stuff going on right now. Well, Liberty Union just beat Akron Manchester 4-2 in the state semifinal softball game in one of the two as they try to defend their state title, but they beat Manchester 4-2. Beginning that game started at 10 o'clock this morning. So hats off to the Lions for moving on to the state championship. The team that they're going to play, those two teams are playing right now to earn that honor. Oak Harbor and Wheelersburg playing as we speak at Firestone Stadium in Akron. Boy, that's about as far away as you can get two teams in the state of Ohio. Oak Harbor up on the water on Lake Erie, and Wheelersburg on the river in south part of Ohio. So those two teams meeting in Akron today. Last year, Liberty Union beat South Range out of Canfield for their first state title, going for their second as they move on with that win today over Akron Manchester. So good luck to the Lions. The game will be played tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 o'clock, Firestone Stadium. Now, let's move on to national news. The NHL playoffs got underway last night. What a fun game. I mean, if all the games will be like that, we will enjoy watching as Edmonton gets the win at home in overtime over Florida. We've been talking leading up to this about just the one goal combined between McDavid and Draisaitl last year when these two teams played for the championship. But Leon Draisaitl last night had 2 goals himself. Connor McDavid with a couple of assists. And Draisaitl had the winner, the power play goal in overtime for the win. And it brings up a point. We talked to our good friend Ed Francis yesterday, and he said, and I quote, "You can't put Edmonton on the power play." And he was right. And you know what? It's one of those penalties that you feel bad for the guy. It was Tomas Nosek who flipped the puck over the glass, just trying to clear it out of the zone, and it went over the glass, and that gets you a delay of game penalty. And that's, the only power play goal for Edmonton on the night, but it happened at the right time in overtime, almost at the end, or it happened right before the end of the first overtime. I was actually texting back and forth with Ed Francis a little bit, and we were worried we wouldn't be able to stay awake if there was a second overtime. So Leon Draisaitl took care of us. So 1-0, the Edmonton Oilers lead the series after a game. They will go back at it on, tomorrow night in Edmonton. So Edmonton will try to hold serve and see if they can get their second win there. But great game. And one of the neat moments was on that overtime winner, Connor McDavid flipped it from the left side to the right side where Draisaitl was. And usually you expect Connor McDavid to be the first guy to greet him because, again, it wins the game. But if you watch, McDavid does not go right. In fact, he doesn't really celebrate at all right away. He goes and finds Corey Perry, who had the second assist, the guy that fed him, to congratulate him on a great pass. Corey Perry has taken the place of Zach Hyman, who's out with an injury on the power play. And so Connor McDavid, being the captain, the leader, went out to find him first and then went over to the appropriately named scrum along the wall to congratulate. So, boy, what a game. Florida led it 3-1. And, that's why you don't pay attention all the time to stats that everybody says. But the Panthers are 31-0 were 31-0 in the past 3 postseasons when they led after the first or second period. And last night they led after both, 2-1 after 1, 3-2 after 2. And now that stat is 31 and I guess 2 because they were measuring 2 different points there, but certainly the first loss in either one of those categories. And we'll have Ed Francis on next week to see, what quote we can use again in the proceedings. But he did say you cannot put Edmonton on the power play. And, boy, just a delay of game penalty, that hurts. The NBA playoffs get underway tonight. They will crown, at the end of it, the NBA will crown a first-time champion because the Pacers and the Thunder, neither has won. They've been to the finals, but neither has won a championship. They will get underway 8:30, around 8:30. You never know when tip-off will be with all that goes on the network. They'll be on ABC TV tonight. Again, 8:30 start. Game 1 is in Oklahoma City. So we'll see. I think that when you're looking at trying to figure out a winner in this one, and certainly OKC is the big favorite, especially with home court advantage and the way they played throughout the season. But I think that the winner tonight will come down to the team will be, let's put it this way, be determined by whether Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City, which of those two outstanding players has the most assists? Because both not only good scorers, and SGA, tremendous scorer, but when they are dishing out to their teammates, they can make a huge difference. So I think game will come down to which of those two guys has more assists, Halliburton or SGA. So let's see if I'm right about that at the end of the night. But again, that starts this evening on ABC TV, 8:30, unless you want to fly down to Oklahoma City. And they're in a different time zone. I think that'd be 7:30 their time. Okay, local. Clippers, look at this. We went actually 2 nights ago. We went on Tuesday night when the series opened, saw a win that night. They get their second win in a row after having lost 7 in a row. So last night back on the winning side, beating Toledo Mudhens for the second straight night at Huntington Park. It was 5-2. They won it. Kind of a weird offensive night because 7 of the 9 Clippers batters had hits, only one hit apiece. So there were 7 hits for the Clips on the night, but 5 of those were extra base hits, including a couple of home runs. Yordis Valdez and Jake Anchia both connected for home runs, a couple of doubles. Petey Halpin, Brian Rocchio, and Christian Cairo had a triple, his second of the season. All that's in the story on the front page of our website. And actually my picture of Jonathan Rodriguez, that comes from Tuesday night. So, whenever we say a file photo, it was from a different night than the game. But Jonathan Rodriguez in a sun field out in left field Tuesday night, which was Diamond Dog Night, and a lot of people out on the grass berm out there wanting to get a long shot just to show all that. And somehow, weirdly, the word hunting of Huntington Park shows there. I don't know if I meant that as a metaphor or not, but that's the way we cropped it, but mostly wanted to show the berm with all the people that come out there. And soon we're going to get we're going to try to get as many Clippers players and staff on this show as we can over this summer. So stay tuned for that. But last night, Jonathan Rodriguez, the reason we showed him had a couple of RBIs in the win. Now, we're following the saga of starting pitcher Aaron Davenport, who pitched well last year at the beginning of this year at Akron for the Rubber Ducks, got moved up to AAA. This was his 3rd start last night. The first 2, he gave up 3 runs in the first inning of both of them, got pulled in the first after that, let him stay out there for a while, ended up giving him 4 in the game a game ago. So his ERA is coming down. That 27 after the first game, you want to get that as far down as you can. And he got it down into single digits on the front end there with his game last night. He did not get the win because he didn't go 5 innings. But good for him. Let's see, just make sure we've got it right. He only gave up a run in 4, but did not figure into the decision. That went to Tanner Burns, who's 3-0 as a reliever, but also Matt Crook, who they just got from the A's. Bradley Hanner and Zach Kent helped them get on the winning side. Last night, no save attempt for Zach Kent. He actually gave up a run, and so they were ahead by 4 going in the night, so he was not able to get the save. But the win goes to Tanner Burns, and they will go at it again tonight. Will the Clippers and the Toledo Mud Hens, another 7:05 start. And I always recommend that you dial them up on the radio to hear my friend Ryan Mitchell, a guest on this show, who does the play-by-play on Fox Sports 9:20 a.m., but they get underway at 7:05 this evening. All right, looking at some high school stuff. We know now who the teams are that are going to play in the state lacrosse finals, both in boys and girls. The girls, let's look at that first. We'll cover both games on Saturday because there are Central Ohio teams. And in fact, in Division I, it'll be 2 Central Ohio teams going at it, Olentangy Liberty and Upper Arlington. And this is the 3rd year in a row that they have played each other for the state championship. Last year, it was Olentangy Liberty winning 6-5 in a thriller. Their first state championship in 23. Upper Arlington won 14-10. So we'll see. We'll settle this 3-game series on Saturday, Liberty and Upper Arlington, and that'll be at 1 o'clock at Historic Crew Stadium. All these games will be at Historic Crew Stadium. In Division II, it'll be DeSales. They won last night, beating Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy 16-9. They move on to the finals, taking on Hathaway Brown out of Shaker Heights. That'll be at 4 o'clock. If I said Saturday, I misspoke. No, that will be on Saturday. Let's get it all right. Both girls' games, Division I at 1 o'clock, Division II at 4 o'clock will be Saturday at Historic Crew Stadium. In the boys' side, and it's just one of those days, both of the D1 teams representing Central Ohio went down to defeat, falling Dublin Jerome fell to St. Ignatius, Worthington Kilbourne lost to St. Xavier. So it'll be St. Ignatius and St. X in the D1 final, 1 o'clock on Sunday at Historic Crew Stadium. So no area team in that Division I final. In Division II, we do have that game at 4 o'clock Sunday is Watterson will take on Worcester. So Watterson in that 4 o'clock game Sunday. So if you're going out just to watch local teams, and you should, all games you've got to say it right because the Crew owns a couple of stadiums, or at least owns the names on a couple of stadiums. Saturday it'll be the girls, and we will have teams in 1 and 2 divisions, and at 1 and 4, and then on Sunday, boys Division II, we will have a team in Watterson. So hope you head out there and see all of that. We mentioned that the state baseball regional finals, so many of them finishing up around the state in the new 7-division format. They are playing right now, at least Grove City, and let's see if we can get an update for you on that game. It was 1-0 Olentangy over Grove City. That's the only one that's going on right now, and that is still, as far as we know, the score down at Beavers Field in Lancaster. But so many regional finals going on today. Central Ohio still has teams in Division 1 through 4, and then in Division 7, and all that will be available. We'll do a story. We're going to have a story for you tomorrow morning that will list all of that. And then tomorrow also, the state track and field meet gets underway, and we'll have some coverage. I'm going to go out and see a little bit of it, and then but John Hulkenberg, our photographer, will be there both tomorrow and Saturday to capture pictures. So look for those. Always excellent. He has covered the track meet for a long time. Did it for Ohio High School for a long time, and we're lucky to have him. This will be the 3rd go-round for CBUS Sports. So hopefully you'll check that out. All right, and so here's a feature I just decided on it, I guess, in a vacuum. I decided that the first Thursday of every month will be our sports book club. Now, I want to say this right. It's our sports book club. It's not our sports book club, because sports book has a different meaning now that gambling has really just kind of moved into every square inch of sports, even during games, right? So, but no, this is the old-fashioned analog print stuff on the page, or if you want to read the ebook, fine. But I'm partial to the, to the printed page. But we're going to do this the first Thursday of every month. And the reason for that is it was so much a part of my growing up. I was kind of nerdy about that, but I also was sports enough that that's the books I like to read the most. I'd read what they told me, and then I'd sneak and read the ones I wanted. And the first one I ever read, and I actually remember very vividly the cover and working through it, was Bill Freehan, his Behind the Mask book that came out in 1970. Bill Freehan was a catcher for the Detroit Tigers, who played on those great Tiger teams, the one that won the 68 championship over the St. Louis Cardinals. Had guys like Al Kaline, Norman Cash, and Bill Freehan was the catcher for that team. That was the first one I ever read, and that was pretty, it was kind of family friendly, not too much that a kid shouldn't be aware of. But it came out the same year as Ball 4, the knuckleballer Jim Bouton, also in 70, came out with the book Ball 4. Had at least one sequel edition to that, but it was way more controversial because it really kind of opened up the behind the scenes for the first time, kind of broke the code of what happens, in locker rooms and hotels and things that go on. And that came out in 1970, made him a celebrity. No, I mean, he was kind of a journeyman, a knuckleballer thought of as being odd anyway. And it was kind of an odd book, still a great read. And then 9 years later, I guess it was 1979, the book came out, The Bronx Zoo, who Sparky Lyle was one of the authors, along with Peter Gollenbach, who's a great writer. But they co-wrote the book, The Bronx Zoo, and that was about the New York Yankees 1978 season. And it took Ball 4 and just kept going in terms of revelations behind the scenes in Major League Baseball, which was, at that time, that it was the top sport. It was the national pastime. I think we have for those of us who love baseball, I don't think we can say that with a straight face anymore. But at that time, it was. I mean, the reserve clause was still around, so it was just ending. That meant you had to stay with a team until they traded you, so people were with the same teams for a long time. And so it was just a different time for baseball. And those books, well, Behind the Mask, you might have trouble finding that one. But because my dad grew up in Michigan and he was a huge Tigers fan and a sports announcer, he found that book for me. I read it. And then I think I snuck reading Ball 4 and then The Bronx Zoo later as I got older. So I didn't have to sneak it. By the time I was 18, I was fine with The Bronx Zoo. But before that, anything I read, I kind of had to, if they were spicy, I had to get them in the door on Locust Avenue in Zanesville. I had to work past everybody. Right now, I'm reading, and we're going to try to have some of these authors on if we can get them. We'll try like crazy to do it. But right now, I'm reading a book called The Lucky Loser, written by Michael Costa, who's one of the co-hosts now on the Daily Show. Costa is an interesting guy because he was a professional tennis player, which I don't think he talks about a lot on the air. But he went to the University of Illinois, where they won a bunch while he was there. He thought of as being pretty good, turned professional, never really rose through the ranks, and kind of found his way to stand-up comedy. That's where I am now in the book, about halfway through it. And then, of course, made his way to the Daily Show, where his paycheck went up a little bit. So yeah, Lucky Loser just came out. Michael Costa, Kosta. TA. Boy, it'd be great if we could get him. We'll try. I mean, he's in New York. Don't know if he would jump on. We'll give it a shot. But we will keep reading. But that's the one, and we'll do kind of a full review of that on July 3rd. That'll be our next one on the eve of the Independence Day holiday, which is a Friday this year. So stay tuned for that. But again, if you want to read along or talk about it as we go, it's called The Lucky Loser. Just came out in hardback. Not a tough read at all by Michael Costa. All right, now, big doings tomorrow as we start to put a wrap on this one today, just a shorter one for you on this Thursday. Tomorrow, we will welcome in. We've had the oldest son, our Carolyn and my oldest son, Alex, was on this week. He was on sports science as a quarterback when he went to college out in California. And we were talking about John Burkus, who passed away from sports science, much too young. And so we had Alex on. So we're moving down the son list. And my daughter, Katie, was not going to be happy about this at all. But her twin brother, Casey, will be on tomorrow from Hoboken, New Jersey. He has become in the house the cinema aficionado. I was lucky enough to run sort of the Drexel Theater for years, like between 2012, 2018. One of the great joys of my life was heading up everything at the Drexel Theater on the ground out there, which when I was there, it was a more of an art theater. Today, it's a neighborhood theater and had to be after the pandemic. You had to expand a little bit to make sure you had an audience, and they're still doing great out there. And still love to go there. But because I've been away from it now for 7 years, I in those days had to research everything on top of, new releases and all that. Now I'm kind of just watching what I like and going out to watch what I like. But Casey, number 2 son, he watches all kinds of stuff. So what I tasked him with is to come up with his top 5 all-time golf films, because next week is the U.S. Open. And also this summer, I think it's July 25th, is the premiere of Happy Gilmore 2. And so we're kind of leading up to that. And we will have a very special guest as we get maybe on the date, maybe a little bit before we get to Happy Gilmore 2 to the premiere. We may have lined up somebody who was on the set of that film. So there you go. We're going to celebrate it in as many ways as we can. But tomorrow, and I'm curious to see if Casey puts that as one of his top 5 ever golf films. I recommended a couple of the older ones to him. I just said, hey, kind of look out. These are in black and white, so fight through it. But he's going to provide us tomorrow from his residence in Hoboken, New Jersey. As we learn, one of the more expensive places on earth to live. Casey will give us a call and we'll go through his 5 all-time favorite golf films. Okay? Stay tuned for that. And then Oliver, the 3rd son, because we're just going to skip over Katie. No, we'll find a reason to have Katie come on. Katie is by the way, not to slight her at all, because not only is Katie a successful business person, but she lives in Chicago and has done some stuff at Second City, classes and stand-up and sketch comedy and improv. And so when she and I talk on the phone, it is, there isn't a lot of space between speakers on the phone. So we'll have to work through that, but we'll find a reason to get Katie on. And then our little one, Oliver, is a videographer, loves sports, played here. 10-0 Grandview, was a quarterback on that team. So we'll find reasons for me to brag and get people on, but not that much, because I know people get sick of that. So we'll do that. So we're going to make them do stuff that matters. Okay. Just not be on and try to be cute. Because they're all in their 30s now. So cute probably went out the window. They won't like that either. But we'll make them do productive things. I mean, Alex, the oldest, is a executive producer of this show, so he has to be around the show because he works cheap. All right. Trivia time. Enough about my family. So yesterday, we asked, because of the NHL playoffs or Stanley Cup finals, we asked who is the third all-time scorer of playoff goals in the NHL. That was awkwardly worded. And the reason we did third was because Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier are too easy. Played together at Edmonton, and then Messier won one more Stanley Cup after Wayne Gretzky left, and then he won another one in New York for the Rangers. So those two are easy. So what we asked was, who is the third all-time leading playoff goal scorer in the NHL? There's just no good way to say that. And the answer is Jari Kurri, who has 106 goals in the playoffs. Gretzky had 122, Messier 109. Kurri, and you had to guess another Edmonton player. He also won Stanley Cups with the Oilers, but he had 106. And they used to say that if he and Gretzky were going down the ice on a 2-on-1, it was going to be a goal, period. But Kurri, and his last name is spelled Kurri, if you're looking him up, 106 goals. He played 17 seasons in the National Hockey League. He was the first Finnish player to be enshrined into the Hockey Hall of Fame. That was back in 2001. So really, really good player. Not somebody that comes up all the time, but you ought to know him. He's in the Hall of Fame. Scored a lot of goals in the playoffs. Jari Kurri. So that's the answer today. Our question today, the new one, is this. Often considered the greatest women's softball player ever, this pitcher led Team USA to a gold medal at the 2004 Athens Olympics and had a 1.08 earned run average in her years with the University of Arizona. Now, you can look that up easily, but that's not why we ask them. I mean, go ahead if you don't know, but we're seeing if you know it off the top of your head. So let's say it again. Often considered the greatest women's softball player ever, this pitcher led Team USA to a gold medal at the 2004 Athens Olympics and had a 1.08 earned run average in her years with the University of Arizona. She also worked to get softball back into the Olympics, one of the leading people to do that. So we'll answer that for you tomorrow on our Friday show. And once again, son number 2, Casey, will be on the film aficionado. I just wanted to say that again. He'll have his 5 all-time golf films that we can discuss. And then if you're reading, again, we're reading in the SEBA Sports Book Club, Lucky Loser by Michael Costa, the stand-up comic, former professional tennis player. You can watch him on The Daily Show. Well, that's going to do it for us today. We hope you're having a good Thursday. Let's look real quick, see if we have an update on the Grove City. Nope, still 1-0 as far as we know. Olentangy over Grove City baseball down at Beavers Field in Lancaster. But we'll have the story of all of the winners going on to the state tournament. We hope that you will look for that on CBUS Sports. In the meantime, we hope you have a great day. We'll talk with you tomorrow right here on the Daily Scrum. I'm Kevin Rouch. Good afternoon, everyone.